Hello and welcome back to our channel. From Zach Collins and Russell Westbrook's collision in the post to Austin Rivers and Mo Bamba's all-out brawl, the 2023 season was full of heated moments. Welcome to Hooper, and in this video we'll talk about the biggest fights of the 2023 NBA season. When you play a sport like basketball, it's easy for things to flare up pretty quickly, especially since emotions are always running high. Not to mention it's a bunch of grown men up against each other. So there's bound to be a clash of egos, and even something as small as a stare down or a push might trigger a vicious fight. But unlike the 1990s and early 2000s, it's rare for things to get so out of hand that players have to face extreme punishments. That said, even though the NBA's way softer now, that doesn't mean there's a shortage of crazy fights every now and then. Just look at the time Zach Collins and Russ got into it. The Lakers faced off against the Spurs in November of 2022, and LA was up by 7 with around 2 minutes left in the third. But things got heated when Brody tried to score inside the paint. He couldn't make the first attempt because Zach blocked him, nor was he able to score on the second try. But this time it was because Collins elbowed Westbrook right on his forehead. Russ was fuming as his head was busted open, so he wasted no time before getting up off the floor and charging towards Zach. He got a chance to push Collins before being pulled back by his teammates. Though Russ made sure to say some harsh words to the big man while being taken away. At least in this case, you could say that Collins didn't mean to start the fight, but I can't say the same about his fight with Michael Porter Jr. I mean, Zach just picked a fight with him for no reason. When Denver was up against the Spurs in March of 2023, Collins showed the NBA world that he's nothing but a sore loser. With around 7 minutes left in the third, MPJ soared high for a mean one-handed poster on Zach's head, but the big man couldn't handle the humiliation, so he ran up to Porter and bumped him with his chest. Before getting all up in Michael's face, MPJ immediately turned around because he was pissed, and the two shoved each other until the Nuggets players separated them. The refs had seen enough and ejected both men, but hey, at least no fists were thrown.
Boy, Russ knew he was hurt. Russ took exception to it. And it's about as hot as you're going to see him get.
Though when Jordan Clarkson and Kuminga fought, they could have been. The Warriors and Jazz treated fans to a thriller when they met in December of 2022, and things were made even more exciting toward the end of the game. The Dubs were up by 2 with less than 30 seconds remaining. So Clarkson tried to drive it in for the layup. Unfortunately for him, JK got the stop and the board. Jordan didn't want to give up just yet and tried to steal the ball from Kuminga before fouling him really hard. JK was furious, so he pushed Clarkson away. And even though Jordan was willing to apologize at first, he soon did a 180 and squared up to Kuminga.
And now Clarkson gets wrapped up, and now they go chest to chest, and they have to hold back Kuminga.
Shot. And right here, Jordan's fouling him, and Kuminga took exception to it. I didn't see anything malice by Jordan Clarkson.
After the loose ball foul that was assessed, we will review a hostile.
He was even daring the forward to come at him, but the Warriors held their boy back, so we didn't get to see anyone's fists fly. This was a pretty heated exchange, yet it's not the same level as the fight between the Suns and Lakers. The Lakers were down by 10 with less than 4 minutes left in the game, and when Austin Reeves tried to cut into the lead, he was stopped in his tracks by Devin Booker. Book blocked Reeves so hard that he went crashing down, but then DeAndre Ayton chose to add insult to injury by going to a downed AR-15 and staring him down. Pat Bev was pissed because he never tolerates disrespect towards his teammates, so he rushed over to Ayton and bumped him so hard that he tumbled to the floor. Keep in mind, Bev's just a 6'2" point guard while DeAndre's nearly 7 feet tall. Soon the LA players got into a scuffle with the Suns, and Pat was ejected for being a menace. Speaking of being a menace, remember the time Trey Lyles picked a fight with Giannis and Brook Lopez? After the Greek Freak destroyed the Kings in March of 2023, the Bucks were up 8 with less than 24 seconds left, so Antetokounmpo planned on dribbling the ball until the final buzzer sounded, but he accidentally bumped into Lyles while bringing the ball up the floor, so he retaliated by fouling Giannis. Lopez didn't like that, so he immediately walked over to Trey and got up in his face. Lyles wanted to keep up the tough guy act, so he pushed Brook as hard as he could before grabbing his neck.
And Lyles and Lopez, Lyles and Lopez going at it. is getting involved. It spills into the scorer's table. And Lopez, he has been upset the entire second half,
resulting in one of the biggest fights of the season. It took an army of players and personnel to break up the scuffle, though at least it wasn't a fight between two teammates. Back in April of 2023, Rudy Gobert and Kyle Anderson had one of the most heated moments of the year, and even though they're teammates, things got out of hand really fast. First, they argued like crazy before Rudy moved forward to punch Kyle's chest. Anderson got pissed, and before he could do anything, Naz Reid had his back as he shoved Gobert for what he did. Kyle also wanted a piece of the Frenchman, so he tried to charge at him. Luckily though, he was held back. Now getting punched in the chest hurts. But Keegan Murray took it a step further against Mo Wagner. With the Pistons up by 19, Orlando had possession, but after a wild pass, Wagner and Murray raced to get their hands on the rock. Mo didn't want Keegan to get the ball since it would mean an easy bucket for Detroit, so he pushed Murray out of bounds and into the Pistons bench. Hamidou Diallo reacted by first pushing Wagner, and then Keegan got up to deliver a blow to the back of Mo's head, knocking him out in the process. A scuffle broke out, and I can guarantee you everyone was sweating big time, because they thought they were about to see part 2 of the Malice at the Palace.
He's going to get pushed by Wagner, Mo Wagner, pretty aggressively. Hamidou's going to get Wagner right there in the back. Killian's going to get him too.
For an altercation that did not dissolve.
I didn't see that.
Unfortunately for Mo, only Murray got some offense in. Though when Donovan Mitchell and Dillon Brooks went at it, they both got a chance to hit each other. With a little under 6 minutes left in the third, Brooks attempted a layup, and thanks to some good defense, he missed the shot, falling to the floor in the process. D-Mitch rebounded the ball, but Dillon, being the menace that he is, intentionally punched Mitchell in the crown jewels. Speedo was enraged, so he threw the ball right at Brooks' face before getting up to push him down. Players, coaches, and everyone in between flooded the area to de-escalate the situation. Dillon's lucky Mitchell got held back, or else he'd have been in a world of pain. But if we're talking about being in a world of pain, then I need to talk about Austin Rivers' brawl with Mo Bamba. If you think the NBA doesn't have fights like the good old days, then you'd be wrong. When Minnie went up against Orlando in February 2023, Rivers and Bamba started chirping on the sidelines, but it didn't take long for them to swing fists and elbows at each other. Soon after, Gallon Snugs took Austin down, but it was all for nothing as he got back right up. Then Rivers tackled Bamba and tried to unleash some ground and pound. Yeah, things got so crazy that it looked like a UFC fight. There was an army of players on the court, but it took forever for things to cool down. Obviously, big fights like this one I told you about don't happen all the time, but when they do, fans love every bit of it, especially since the NBA isn't nearly as hard-nosed as it once was. And honestly, it'd be better to let players duke it out when they get pissed off. After all, these guys are humans at the end of the day, so it's unfair to constantly hold them to such a high standard. They should be allowed to express their anger every now and then, just like the rest of us. On that note, we'll wrap up today's video. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to Hooper, cause there'll be more awesome videos coming every week.